Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Living Beyond Limits. I think you all know that I'm Reverend Jennifer Spear, and we are a part of Centers for Spiritual Living, and I'm so glad that you have joined us today for this in-person service. And for those of you who are joining us online, I welcome you also. And so we're going to begin our service today by reading our mission statement that's on the front of your bulletin. So I invite you to join me in that. We are a sanctuary where people can discover and reveal the presence of God within their own being and experience their oneness with all life. Through the realization of this inner presence of love and peace, we give way to the evolutionary impulse of the divine and become a beneficial presence in the world. So that's what we're up to here at Living Beyond Limits, is we are giving ourselves the opportunity through the talk and through the readings and through even just being in the company of each other, of connecting with our own spirit, with that which is that divine presence within us, that which we are an emanation of. We are giving ourselves the opportunity to feel that and to move back into that space where we recognize that and where we bring that into the world. Because as we bring that presence into the world, we are acting as a beneficial presence. As we bring forward love and peace and kindness and beauty and joy and all of those qualities and characteristics of spirit, we actually make this world a better place. And as we awaken to that divine presence within us, which is always present, which can never leave us, then we have access to all of those qualities regardless of what's happening in the outside world. And that is then we are able to tap into that when the world is not being kind or generous or loving, and we can be the ones that bring those qualities into the world. So I thank every single one of you for answering the call of your own spirit to be bringing it into the world in only a way that you uniquely can do. Thank you for that. And so on platform with me this morning is our practitioner, David Conant. He's going to lead us in an evocation as we begin to evoke an awareness of the presence of spirit. And Alan Bastide is with us today on the piano. He will lead us in singing the prayer chant, We Are. No, we're not singing We Are. We are singing I Open Up. The words will be on the wall right there. And so I invite you to just kind of begin to settle into yourself and to allow yourself to slow down and to kind of disconnect from all of the doing and to allow yourself just to be for a moment.
I need a starting note. In the stillness, in the silence, I feel the sacred surrounding me. I surrender to this moment. I open up and I find peace in the stillness, in the silence. I feel the love inside of me. I surrender to this moment. I open up and I find peace. Let my soul speak with each heartbeat, with every breath I take. In the stillness, to this moment. I open up and I find peace. Let my soul speak with each heartbeat, with every breath I take. In the stillness, in the silence, I feel spirit surrounding me. I surrender to this moment. I open up and I find peace. I open up and I find peace.
I move my thoughts and awareness within, where I recognize the connection with my soul and spirit is through my heart. This inner presence of the one source, the spiritual companion of the soul, defines and blesses my life. Spirit and I are in this together. But it is not just me. This is true for all life and all that exists. This is a universal truth that defines all of our lives, and it is permanent. And it gets stronger the more we recognize it. This is a perfect description of our life with our spiritual companion. Today, I bless and thank Reverend Jennifer for showing us the pathway to unlimited good, which is already ours. I bless Ray. I bless Alan as he blesses us with his music. I bless all spiritual paths. I bless everyone here. And I bless the entire earth and everyone that calls this planet home. And so it is. Good morning. My reading today is from 365 Days of Richer Living by Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker. No one can doubt that God is perfect. Therefore, our claim, our affirmation, and our acceptance, our communion with the infinite, is based on the realization that God is in and through its creation, as well as around and about it. When we make this claim, we are not speaking from the standpoint of the little isolated ego that we appear to be, but rather we are acknowledging and accepting and agreeing with a perfection that already exists. Our claim is one of identifying ourselves with the divine, recognizing its presence and accepting its action in our lives. Realizing that God is all there is, that it is perfect, and that it is right where I am, I gratefully acknowledge and accept my own perfection. Seeing and knowing myself as spirit must see and know me, I boldly claim the perfection of spirit to be my own perfection. There is nothing separate from the divine. I am one with it. I am one in it. It flows through me and is my life. I am rooted in its completion and its wholeness. Spirit is my life and there is nothing else. I let go of everything that contradicts the nature of my being, and simply and sincerely, and with complete relaxation, accept that which Spirit has given, myself. And so it is.
And so I'm going to start today's talk with a story. It goes like this. Where's my Sunday paper? The irate customer calling the newspaper office loudly demanded to know where her Sunday edition was. Madam, said the newspaper employee, today is Saturday. The Sunday paper is not delivered until tomorrow, on Sunday. There was a long pause on the other end of the phone, followed by a ray of recognition as she was heard to mutter, well, that's why no one was in church today. It is so good and feels so good to laugh. And you know, laughing is actually one of those things that we can do to take good care of ourselves, especially when life seems stressful. Yes? Laughing reduces stress and relieves pain. Laughing strengthens our hearts and relaxes our muscles. It boosts our immunity and wards off disease. You know, as human beings, we need to take care of ourselves. We need to take good care of ourselves, all aspects of ourselves, our mind and our body, and this very human part of ourselves, as well as our spirit. And part of that care really is about embracing all of who we are, all of those parts. And not to rank those different aspects of ourselves like some are more important than others. Like our spirit is more important than our body, or that our body is more important than our soul, or the I am presence within us. And so today I'm talking about 3 different aspects of ourselves. I'm talking about that very human self, and our soul or our spirit, and that I am presence of our own being. And so the first one is that very human self part of ours. It's our personality and our ego self and our body. It's the part that you see up here, right? It's the aspect that is our personality. It contains our attitudes, and it's how we present ourselves to the world. That very human part of ourselves. It's the part of me that you see up here. It's the part of me that is a hairdresser, the part of me that is outgoing, the part of me that likes to look cute, the part of me that thinks it's important to work hard and to be professional, the part of me that likes people who are interested in things. And then that second aspect of ourselves that we all have is our spirit or our soul, that grandest and highest part of ourselves. It's that place from which we shine our light into the world, right? It's not that personality, human self. It's the spirit within us that we shine our light from there. It is the place within us that is kind and loving and inclusive and generous and accepting of others, regardless of who they are. And so there's a story by Alan Cohen that says, although Martin Luther King departed this world at a young age, he left a legacy of wisdom and kindness and vision that has generated waves of good to uplift the culture for a lifetime to come. King illuminated the potential of every person to be great right where he or she stands. I used to believe that great people are those who attained fame and fortune. Now, I find greatness in humble, honest people, playing their roles to perfection on the turf they have chosen. I know, for example, a marvelous waitress named Lydia, who works in a little out-of-the-way restaurant with a steady, modest clientele. The first time my beloved Dee and I went to the restaurant, Lydia welcomed us as if we were long-lost family. She was, and as if she were entertaining us in her own home. She gave us impeccable, gracious service, touched us, called us darling, and told us to watch out for animals as we drove the dark rural road that night. We eventually bought a piece of property in that area, partly because we liked the kindness that Lydia represented. Now, our friend for years, Lydia, offers the same genial welcome to all of her customers. She wants nothing more than to connect with people, and her intention to make her and the intention makes her a perfect waitress. She is like an angel in that domain. Then there was Raymond, the young man in a wheelchair who sat at the edge of his driveway in my town, waving to every car that drove by. I used to love to drive that road to see Raymond in his hooded sweatshirt, casting a bright smile to all passerby. He was a saint in his own right. You too can be as great as any statesman or healer, expressing your soul, generated by love right where you are. That part of us shining our light in the world. That part of us is what is active and activated when we act as a beneficial presence in this world. That part of us, our spirit, our soul, knows that we are connected, somehow connected to that divine presence. It also knows that we are somehow connected to everyone in this world. Sri Aurobindo, who was an Indian philosopher and a studier of the Bhagavad Gita, said, "The divine soul, living in the truth of its being, always has the conscious sense of itself as a manifestation of the absolute." It's the part of us that knows and that gives way to and that expresses the Spirit, our Spirit expressing Spirit. And so that first part of us, that personality, very human part of ourselves, is the part of ourselves that says, God is in me. And that second aspect of ourselves says, God expresses through me, that I am a conduit. God moves through me into this world when I am open, when I am connected to myself, that self with a capital S. It is the part of ourselves that we nurture here at Living Beyond Limits, the part of ourselves that we invite forward when we are here, the part of ourselves that we give voice to. And then that third aspect of ourselves is the I am presence, the I am within us. That is the part of us that knows God as me, that there is no differentiation. There is no otherness. It is that one undifferentiated, infinite presence, that eternal Spirit within us. It is the part of us that knows there is no other, that knows there is only wholeness, and that there is only perfection, and that there is only beauty, that those things are the truth, that they are unchanging, they are eternal, they are everywhere present. It's the part of us that knows that. There is nothing outside of it. Ramana Maharishi said, "How should we treat others? There are no others." And that second part of ourselves, our spirit and our soul, Reverend Scott Aubrey says, that Sri Aurobindo that I read referred to this divine something as a pure and unlimited energy. The presence of the Absolute is not an experience to be occasionally glimpsed or finally arrived at after great difficulty. he said that the divinity of life is not an addition or an acquisition or a culmination that is superimposed on us. It is the very foundation of being. That is the foundation of our very soul, but our soul sees us as separate and connected. The I am presence knows there is only one. There is nothing different than that one. And so we commune with that I am presence that is always within us in deep meditation. Yet we live from all three of those aspects of ourselves. And all three of those aspects are valuable and necessary and important. The problem is sometimes we don't recognize the importance of all three of those aspects of ourselves. Sometimes, for those of us who are in this philosophy, think that actually our spirit is more important than our body. And then we spend lots of time reading and meditating and praying and doing studying of spiritual material and spend our focus on nurturing our spirit, sometimes to the neglect of our bodies. But if we don't have a healthy body and a body that is well rested, if we don't have a strong ego sense about us, that means having a good self-image, owning our capabilities and our strengths and our weaknesses. If we don't nurture and care for that very human self and our body, then we don't really have a very good vehicle for spirit to express in this world. We don't have a very good vehicle to bring that I am into the world. And then what happens when we live from that perspective sometimes is we ignore our bodies, or we shun the physical things. We don't honor our body's importance, and sometimes we don't take care of it as well as we might if we were coming from a different perspective. And so the title of my talk today is Me, Myself, and I. Me, myself with a capital S, and I am. I'm talking about honoring and nurturing and caring for all of the aspects of ourselves. And that when we do that, when we nurture and care for all of those aspects of ourselves, that creates the perfect foundation for us living our fullest and our best lives. So how do you care for each one of those? I think we care for that very human aspect of ourselves and our bodies by feeding it good and nutritious food, by feeding it high-quality food and getting enough rest. Does anyone in here not get enough rest? By feeding it good food, resting our bodies, exercising it, breathing fresh air, being outdoors. I think we feed that personality part of ourselves, that part of ourselves as who we present to the world, who you see me as, by giving it that part of ourselves a creative outlet to express our gifts and our talents and the things that we like to do. That helps nurture that very human self, the part of you that likes to cook or decorate or do math or work on computers. That nurtures and feeds that human self. And how do we feed that psyche part of ourselves? The mind, that sense of self. I think we feed and nurture that by accepting ourselves, by accepting all of who we are. I think we do it by not judging ourselves. I think we feed that part of ourselves by being tender with our wounds. That means not giving ourselves a hard time if we have broken places within us, past hurts, but instead to embrace that and hold it with a gentleness. I think we feed our psyche and that personality part of ourselves by being encouraging and supportive of trying new things, of making mistakes. of just being encouraging of ourselves. And so how do we nurture our spirit or our soul, that grandest and highest part of ourselves? One of the things that we do is we unplug. We unplug from the world and spend some time in silence. That nurtures that part of us. It moves at a little slower vibration than our bodies do and that the world around us does. You know, a whale spends time at the surface of the ocean, swimming along the top and slapping its flukes on the water and breaching and doing those things, spouting. But at other times, that whale swims down deep into the ocean, far below the waves and the tumult of the top of the water, where it's still and where it's silent. We need both. We need to go to parties, and we need to dance, and we need to laugh, and we need to do hard work, and we need to look cute. And we also need to be in the quiet, and we need to be still. We need to find that stillness of our own being. We need to connect with ourself, all of ourself. That's how we nurture our spirit or our soul. We nurture our spirit or our soul through being with friends and people that we love, through taking time and being in nature, through coming here to Living Beyond Limits. We nurture our spirits by being of sacred service to other people, serving them, and connecting with each other. All of those things. Do you feel how each one of those things feeds your spirit? Ernest Holmes said, "The only God we will ever know is the one that we embody, the one that we feel inside of ourselves. We recognize it within us, especially as it's acting through us. We can't see it, but we can feel it. We feel that presence in joy. We feel it in love. We feel it in sharing our spirit. We feel it in shining our light in the world." And that third aspect of ourselves, that I am within us, the I am of our own being, I really don't think we need to nurture that. I think we just need to commune with it. As we commune with that I am in that deep silence, it heals. It feeds all of the aspects of our being. It heals our bodies. It heals our psyches. Because within that I am, there is only wholeness. There is only perfection. There is only good without end and without bounds. And in that deep meditation, we come to recognize there is only one. There is only the all, and we are a part of that all. So we meditate to get outside of our own thinking and our own minds, to recognize that oneness. We pray so that we can convince our own minds there is something more than the problems that are happening in our lives, that there is something greater and bigger that is here ready to unfold in our lives. We read things that are spiritually inspiring because they help remind us of what we already know deep inside, but our brains sometimes forget. That's why when you're reading something and you feel yourself kind of relax, or you feel something that goes, "Oh my gosh, this feels so good," it's because you already know it. Your soul, the I am within you, already knows it. It's recognizing it. And we journal, so that in our journaling we give space for answers to come forward, and we can discover that yes, that infinite intelligence really is in us, and that it leads us and guides us and reveals itself as we give space for it. Once we quit our yammering about what's going wrong and get into that space of letting it come through us in journaling. as we do those things, we recognize that that divine presence is flowing through our entire being, and that it is flowing through everything, because it is everywhere. And so my invitation to you this week is to care for all of the aspects of yourself, knowing that each one is valuable. Your body and your personality self, and even your ego self that keeps you safe and makes decisions in your life, and your spirit and your soul, that highest self, and the I am within you. To nurture all of those aspects of yourself, and to recognize that they are all necessary, and that they are all sacred, and that they all deserve your love and your attention and your care. And so blessings to each and every single one of you on this path of nurturing your own spirit and bringing it forward in this world that is in such a beautiful way that benefits you and everyone else. Blessings to each of you. And so I invite you to join me in an affirmative prayer. How good it is to be in recognition of that infinite one, that one that is all around us. For I recognize that it fills this room, that it fills this entire world, that it fills the cosmos with its beauty and its wonder and its magnificence, that it fills everything with its love and with its peace, and that it is the very presence of good, and it is the very essence of life. It is the life that we are each living. It is the life that animates all things. It is the life within me and the life within you and the life within everyone. And so I recognize also that God cannot be divided into pieces or parts, but that indeed the wholeness of that presence of spirit is right here. All that God is right here. All that God is everywhere. And so today we recognize that yes, indeed, we are individualized expressions of that one. Incarnations of spirit, here shining our light, here sharing our spirit, here connected to an actual expressions of that I am. And so today we take care of our bodies and our very human self. We spend time nurturing our spirits and feeding them, and we recognize the I am within us. And so I know that as we nurture the wholeness of who we are, that we are supported and buoyed and lifted so that we might live our best lives ever. And so I speak this word also right now for and about this entire world, recognizing that that same presence that is within us is within every single person. All of the intelligence, all of the wisdom, all of the peace and the inner guidance and the inner knowing, the truth of oneness and connection and wholeness, all of that lives within every single world leader and every single politician and every single decision maker, and that presence right now is bigger and grander and greater and more powerful than anything that is unlike it. And that presence right now is unfolding itself through each one of them. For it is the I am within them, and it is ever present. And today, as we put our attention on that, and as we claim it and recognize it and know it, it is stirred and it is awakened, and it is invited into this world in a whole new way. And so today, we just rest in that truth. I rest in the truth that there is enough for everyone. Enough resources, enough food, enough wisdom, enough love for every person. And so it is with a heart filled with gratitude that I release this prayer into the creative law of the universe, knowing that it is happening right now in this world of form. How wonderful that is. And I say, thank you, God, and so it is.
It's now time for our affirmation, which is on the white sheet. If you would join me as we read this, it makes it very powerful. Today, I take care of all the facets of my being. I recognize that each is valuable and sacred. All the parts of me deserve my love, attention, and care, and so it is.
And so I just have a couple of invitations for you. One is, I've been talking about for the last few weeks, joining our meetup group and going online. In our meetup, it's meetup group is Living Beyond Limits Center for Spiritual Living. And just click that you're going. Tells people that there's more than 2 of us here, so it invites them to come and join us. And to also follow us on Facebook. That way, the things that we put out show up in your inbox on Facebook. One of those things is the talk every Monday, and then you can share that, and it goes out to your people also as a way to spread the word and to invite people here. We have sign-up sheets in the back. We've had lots of people that have been coming and helping us set up and helping us break down, and people that have been bringing coffee. And really, I want to thank every single one of you who have participated in that, because that really is being of sacred service. That really is serving your family here at Living Beyond Limits and makes a difference to every one of us that is here. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of those who have been participating in doing that, and our greeters and our counter and anybody that is participating in holding this together and putting it on and supporting us. I just thank you for all of that. I also thank all of you who have been supporting us financially online or sending checks to my house. That we absolutely appreciate all of that support of Living Beyond Limits. But there are sign-up sheets in the back. If you would like to sign up to do any of those things, we invite you to do that. Our Sunday talks go out every Monday, or they are available on our website, as well as all the talks from the past, and that our practitioners are here to support you in prayer. If you would like prayer, they are happy to sit down with you and pray, and we have prayer shawls in the back, and we have a Ministry of Prayer box. You can fill out a request, and we'll support you during the week.